Hey people, it is Monday, July the 24th, and the time is 6:29 in the evening, and I am on Bloor Street West, just passing over the Humber River along this rather expansive bridge. I just got off the subway at Old Mill Station, which is just behind me. I'm going to be walking east here on Bloor Street into Bloor West Village, and then I'll walk through that very nice retail and shopping area along Bloor Street. Here's a look at the river. So the built-up commercial portion of Bloor West Village begins just a few minutes to the east of here, just around this bend. I think it's around 24 Celsius, feeling more like 30 degrees with the humidex. So about an hour or so ago, some fairly severe thunderstorms rolled through downtown Toronto, which is where I live. So I was kind of hoping they would blow over before I headed out to record these videos, and it did. And now you'd never know that that storm even took place. There were torrential downpours and strong gusting winds. But it didn't seem to cool things off very much. It feels just as hot and muggy now as it did before the storm blew through. I noticed this part of Toronto seems to have a hankering for these Tudor-style buildings here. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But there does seem to be a concentration of them in this area, close to Old Mill. It's a very upscale apartments and condominiums also can be found on this part of Bloor Street. And the retail along Bloor Street in Bloor West Village also tends to be a bit of the upscale variety. And some interesting art here in front of this building. More Tudor style over there. They should just call this the Tudor District. And here's where things transition to the commercial strip along Bloor Street. This was formerly a movie theater and some other businesses, demolished a couple of years back to make way for a residential condo, and it's well underway. There's a very deep pit there now as they're digging the underground parking levels. I think it'll be a mid-rise building. But I did go see a movie here one time when the theater still existed. Looks like Bagel Time has closed down across the street. Montreal-style bagels. It's very refreshing. And there's Jane subway station just right over here. The subway line runs just to the north of the Bloor Street strip. So all of the station entrances are just to the north of Bloor. And that is line 2. In this area, some of it runs underground and some of it runs above ground on an elevated guideway. So, welcome to Bloor West Village, as the banner says. Very nice upper middle class commercial strip that also has a bit of a Eastern European flavor to it. It's also referred to as the Ukrainian district, I guess. Little Ukraine, I suppose. And there is a neighborhood street festival here that celebrates the Ukrainian heritage of the area. But obviously not all the shops and restaurants are Ukrainian. You'll find a little bit of everything here, including Fat Bastard Burrito. But across the street you can see there is a Ukrainian credit union. So if you look, you'll spot some Ukrainian themed businesses here and there along the way. And many fruit stands and flower shops can be found along here. I think that's what stands out the most to me every time I've come through the area. And there's often some very nice fragrant odors of the fruits and flowers wafting along the sidewalks, which makes for a very pleasant experience as you're passing through. Bloor Street through the area, though, is a rather wide thoroughfare with fast-moving traffic. So it doesn't have quite the intimate feeling of some of the commercial strips in the more close-in parts of the city, such as Queen Street West or College Street in Little Italy, where the streets tend to be narrower and they often have a streetcar line running down. But if you just stroll along the sidewalks and try not to pay too much attention to the street itself, it can be just as pleasant as an experience as walking along those more inner city commercial areas. This is quite far from downtown. It took about half an hour to go from Dundas subway station to Old Mill station. And a fair number of patios line the street also.
I want somebody.
It's sort of like a Western equivalent to the Danforth in many ways. It is the same street after all, just with a different name. On the other side of Old Toronto. And some pretty decent trees line the street also. I'd say better than what you find on Danforth Avenue. The more eastern part of Danforth Avenue, which would be sort of the counterpart to this area, is a significantly less well-to-do area. That might have something to do with it. I find that the more well-off areas usually tend to have a lot more trees compared to less fortunate areas of the city. Doesn't everyone need shade? another fruit stand. Smells very good. I think most of this commercial strip was built up around 100 years ago or so, as well as most of the housing stock in the area. Not sure how long this Circle K has been here. They're just popping up everywhere these days. I want to stick to this side of the street because the shade is on this side. I'd rather not venture over onto the sunny side. It's crossing Runnymede Road, so there's another subway station just right up here, Runnymede Station. And this subway line was built in the 1960s, I believe. We have one of the many Firkin pubs. It's called the Swan. Pretty nice rooftop patio. And Cobb's Bread. You'll often find these located in more upscale retail areas as well, such as the beaches, for instance. There's another example of Tudor style across the street. And there is a discount grocery store though. We got a No Frills.
Paying more than
the Village Playhouse. It's like a local theater company here. The Importance of Being Earnest, coming soon. So now we're coming out of the Bloor West Village commercial area and transitioning into the High Park neighborhood. can see up ahead that large clump of green. That's actually High Park itself. And you can actually see all the way to Yonge and Bloor with the One Bloor East condo tower towering off way in the distance. It's at the northern end of downtown Toronto. Pretty awesome cycle shop across the street. Looks pretty huge, actually. And one of my favorite old pre-war apartment buildings in the city. 2001 Bloor Street West. An apartment odyssey. I just get a kick out of the address of this building. There's still retail and whatnot along this part. Bloor Street has retail along much of its length, actually. It does transition to more residential just up ahead once we're passing High Park, but right after that, the retail begins again and continues all the way to downtown Toronto. Animal hospital right next to a pet food store. Someone was definitely planning ahead. Another nice older apartment building. There are a number of these along this part of Bloor Street, actually. And there you can see where the subway passes over the street as it runs above ground here. Will we see one pass by in the next 10 seconds? Probably not, but that would be cool. And I didn't think so. There, I can actually hear the subway now from here. So there's High Park across the street now. The largest urban park in the city. Rouge Park is bigger, but it is more of a natural wilderness area within the city limits in the very northeastern corner of the city. Basically a patch of undeveloped land that was just turned into a park. Whereas High Park was designed to be a park in the middle of an urbanized area, similar to Central Park in Manhattan. And it does share many similarities with Central Park, just not quite as big and not in the core of the city. Must be nice for the people who live along here to be directly across the street from arguably the best park in the city. Sorry. But I can see my battery is about to die here, so looks like I'm going to have to wrap this up a few minutes earlier than I normally would. Usually I like to take a video to at least 30 minutes or so, but I don't have any choice in the matter. So I hope you enjoyed this walk along Bloor Street West through the Bloor West Village area and into the High Park area just to the east of that. Leave a comment down below if you did enjoy. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also be sure to hit that notification bell, that way you won't miss any of my videos. And if you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store. There's also a super thanks button right down below if you'd like to support the channel that way. So thanks for watching, and be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.